Oh.
Y'all ready to start? Mr. Brandt, you lead us in prayer, please.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you this morning for allowing us to be here. Thank you for allowing us to be in Jackson County. Thank you for everything that you do for us every day. We ask that you lead, guide, and direct us on every decision made this morning. In Christ's name, amen. Amen. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic standing one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. God bless the United States. Amen. Yes, I got a report by play. He's not here. But he probably don't need that anyway. He's probably trying to come in.
I'm here. I'm here.
Good. Glad to see.
That was Mr. Spires.
Do we need to turn the recorder on?
It's the recorder on the phone.
Yeah, that's all right. You're doing good. They won't let us say anything to you. Thank you, ma'am. We welcome you to the
Mr. Westbrook.
meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. And we're gonna ask, or I'm gonna ask everybody to keep the composure and to stay quiet as you will, where we can hear. And good luck. Thank you.
Mr. Westbrook, I do have a couple of additions, if that's okay.
Okay.
Mr. Westbrook, under section, the consent agenda, I'd like to add item 1F. And under section 4, item 4.9. And also ask that Mr. William Long, city manager for Marianna, be given an opportunity to speak early in the agenda if that is the desire of the chair.
Did he pay a tipping fee? Come forward, Mr. Long, right now. Yes, sir. All right.
Before we do that, Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion that we approve the agenda with a couple of additions that Mr. Dean alluded to.
I was gonna take that out of sequence.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let's see.
Got a motion and a second. Let's add the item. You wanna okay the agenda the same way? And add, and okay the agenda. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Move along.
Aye.
Mr. Long, good to see you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yes, sir.
William Long, City of Marianna, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here very briefly. As all of you know, the City of Marianna occupies your building out on the Kinesville Highway where we have our Station 2, where we have our second fire station. Recently, the air conditioner in that building went out and had to be replaced. And in as much as it is the county's building, we occupy it. We don't pay any rent. We know that, but the county gets a decent benefit, very decent benefit from our being there. What we're asking is your consideration in paying for half of the expense of replacing the air conditioner in that building. Not the full amount, but just half of the amount. Again, we occupy the space. It's your building. We don't pay any rent. We fully recognize that, but we don't make any money out there either. In fact, we spend about $300,000 a year to keep our people out there. But bottom line, asking if you would consider splitting the cost of replacing that unit. The split will be about $3,935. We've got 3 quotes. 3 local HVAC contractors went with the lowest one. That was $7,870, and of course, half of that, $3,935.
Mr. Chairman, I want a motion to approve paying for half of the cost, as Mr. Long stated. It is the county's building, and I think that's a fair approach to it. So the county certainly derives a benefit from the city occupying that facility and providing those services, and I think that's a fair approach. So I'll offer a motion to approve the splitting that cost for the city of Marianna.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second to pay for half the air conditioner. for the city of Marianna. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You got your half money.
Thank you all very much.
Will you pay the tax on it too there?
I do my best.
All right. You ready to go to the public hearing, Mr. Dean?
Yes, sir. That would be the next one on the list, Mr. Westbrook.
What about the proclamation?
Oh, yeah, we do.
I'm sorry, Mr.
That's
Westbrook.
right.
Yes, item number
Oh,
one,
we
under
had
section
we
one
did.
is the approval of proclamation honoring Shira McKinney. And I believe Ms. Smith is going to be reading that proclamation for approval by full.
Good morning, Commissioners. This agenda item is for a proclamation honoring Shira McKinney Sr. on the occasion of his 100th birthday on July 30th, 2026. This proclamation recognizes his lifetime of contributions, dedication to family and the community. Mr. McKinney and his family are unable to be here today, but I'm going to read the proclamation and ask that the board adopt the proclamation. Whereas Shira McKinney Sr. entered into the world by birth on July 30th, 1926, and will celebrate his 100th birthday on July 30th, 2026, honoring a century of service and sacrifice. And whereas Shira McKinney Sr. was one of 12 children and grew up in Jackson County, Florida, and whereas Shira McKinney Sr., then PFC McKinney, answered the call of duty during one of the most pivotal eras in world history, World War II. He enlisted in the Army Air Forces at Camp Blanding, Florida on July 8, 1945. And whereas Shira McKinney Sr. was happily married to his cherished sweetheart, Miss Chelsea Dillard, which ignited an amazing journey blessed with 70 years of devotion and memories, which includes 13 children and multiple generations of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. And whereas Shira McKinney Sr., a devoted family man, has worked hard all his life as a farmer, factory worker, small business entrepreneur, and the list goes on. And whereas Shira McKinney Sr.'s life is a testament to the greatest generation, defined by hard work, bravery, and an unwavering dedication to family and country, a true testament to a century of love, faith, and family. And whereas, as he attains this remarkable 100-year milestone, we salute his service, commemorate his achievements, and thank him for an indelible heritage of strength and fortitude, which he continues to exemplify to this day. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners and citizens of Jackson County offer our sincere congratulations and best wishes to Mr. Shira McKinney Sr. for many more happy days in the future to share with family and friends, proclaimed on this, the 23rd day of June, 2026. And I'm asking the board to adopt.
All in favor of the proclamation, signify by raising their right hand.
100 years of living is quite an accomplishment, and congratulations to Shira and his family.
Very much so.
Thank you.
By proclamation. Yeah, I understand. By proclamation.
To back that up, I'll offer a motion. To go
Okay,
along
you
with
want to
that.
vote? Second. Thank you. Got a motion and a second. Y'all all want to vote again? Vote with your right hand. Hey, y'all.
Aye.
Are you ready to begin the?
Mr. Westbrook, this is the public hearing. You would put us into a public hearing and read the ordinance by title only. Public hearing.
Oh, yeah. You're not gonna read anything, do it?
I'm gonna read it, Mr. Chairman.
We yield to you.
Good morning, Commissioners, members of the public and staff. This is an ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of Jackson County prohibiting data centers and associated facilities within the unincorporated area of Jackson County, prohibiting the acceptance, processing, review, and issuance of development application, development orders, development permits, building permits, and other county approvals for data centers and associated facilities, providing findings, providing definitions, providing for applicability and pending applications, providing limited exceptions, providing that the ordinance does not regulate matters within the jurisdiction of the Florida Public Service Commission, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. And just a small blurb on that, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Bringing this back to you all. There's been some concerns about First reading, second reading, we're not required to do 2 readings pursuant to the code and pursuant to Florida statutes. This is not a change of the actual zoning map pursuant to 166 or 125.66, 5A and 5B. This is just banning the data center. So when we bring this back to you all as a change to the comprehensive plan, a change to the zoning maps, that will require the 2 public hearings in accordance with 125.66. So this incorporates a lot of the changes that you all in the public asked for at the last public hearing. So it's an outright ban. And then, of course, if it's the board's will, we'll bring that back to you all at a later date with those changes to the land development code.
Any question by the board for the count?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I recognize.
I've got a request, and I've read through the ordinance in its entirety a couple of times now. And I believe under section 6 exemptions, exceptions, there is some language that does allow the board to provide an exception to this ordinance should the board deem a specific development in the best interest of Jackson County. I'm in agreement with that exception, but I'm also think that there needs to be some means of being able to put into play variance metrics that would allow us to judge whether a potential development would be in the best interest of Jackson County or not. That would be in the way of water usage, passing on electrical infrastructure upgrade costs to our citizens, which I'm against, whether there would be noise concerns, whether there would be lighting concerns, all of those things that have been raised, all of those concerns have been raised by a number of our constituents at our last public hearing. I would like to request that we take from the original moratorium, section H, which is staff direction, and explicitly spells out what we would ask staff to do, and add that to section 7, periodic review. And I spoke to our attorney, didn't feel like this was a problem. I know that Kim Sweezy has indicated that she's comfortable with adding this language back. And with that being the case, I would ask that this ordinance be amended to add that additional language included in the original moratorium, section 8, staff direction, to section 7, periodic review.
Mr. Chairman,
Count. Yes.
question for the county attorney. Mr. Knowles, are you comfortable with those additions and modifications?
Yes,
Same
sir.
question I got.
So the modification is just going to direct staff to go back and make the appropriate changes to the comp plan as pursuant to Senate Bill 484, which will come into effect on July 1st. So we've got our ban now, but we do need to come back and make some changes to the land development code, to the comp plan, to effectuate what the legislature has told us we can do with regard to regulating data centers. So no problem adding that language back into it. It's not going to change the ban. It's not going to allow additional uses or anything like that.
And I just want the board to be mindful of the fact that this board cannot obligate any future boards.
You want to jump on that, Council?
That's true. I mean, I don't want to be macabre about it, but if there was a new board that came in, obviously they could make changes to this. That's just the way government works.
Does it require a vote?
Yes, sir. So motion second and vote on whatever changes you all would like to make to the order.
Okay, the motion is by, okay, who was second? I missed it.
I don't know.
Okay, get one.
Second?
Yes.
Okay, I got a motion in a second.
I got a question on mine.
Okay.
Here, and I don't know.
You want to add to that? Is that what
do
you're
it at
saying?
one time, do it at one time. On,
Just 1 second, please. Now, we're gonna have to amend what he wants to do on your motion.
Correct.
Okay, is that,
Well, it depends on what you want to amend.
well, we can just vote it all down then. If that's what we need to do that. Go ahead, Council.
It may be easier to just take the changes as individual motions and then we can come back. And that way it's a little bit clearer for me and for the record. So we could take Commissioner Donapro's motion, then to get Commissioner Crutchfield's motion, and y'all can vote that however you like.
My motion is to simply add staff direction to section 7, periodic review. And I don't mind reading this if I need to.
Go ahead.
It basically says the board directs county staff to review the comprehensive plan and land development code and prepare proposed amendments addressing the siting design review, compatibility, infrastructure, capacity, environmental, water resource, emergency service, and public facility impact of large-scale data centers and large load customer facilities. The review shall include, at a minimum, appropriate zoning districts, conditional use or special exception criteria, minimum parcel size, setbacks, buffers, screening, landscaping, noise, vibration, lighting, thermal impacts, water supply, reclaimed water, wastewater, stormwater, cooling systems, water conservation, electric infrastructure coordination, backup generators, fuel storage, battery storage, fire suppression, traffic, road impacts, emergency response, and public safety capacity, environmental resources, wetlands, floodplains, impacts, habitat impacts, security, fencing, access control, compatibility with residential, rural, agricultural, conservation, and public uses, decommissioning or adaptive reuse standards and application submittal requirements, including technical studies, which is important. County staff shall present the proposed amendments or written status report to the board within 180 days of the effective date of this ordinance. Ms. Weezy has indicated she's looked at this additional language and feels like county staff does have the capability to put these additional restrictions, zoning metrics, whatever you want to call them, into place, so that in the event that we do get a request somewhere down the line, that we've got something to judge that request against and say, no, you're not meeting all of these requirements. We will not issue that development.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
may I speak to Ms. Sweezy? Is she in the audience or in attendance?
Pardon?
Ms. Sweezy, can I?
Commissioner Branch, whenever Dr. Spires finishes, I got Commissioner Branch wants to speak, but he.
Yes, I'm here, Dr.
Oh,
Spires.
hold up just a
Okay, thank you.
second.
The plethora of things that Mr. Donafer read off, with all due respect, isn't that something that your department do anyway?
We don't have any development criteria that specifically relate to data centers at this point in time. And I think what Mr. Donafro is requesting is that we create additional development criteria in the event in the future there is a proposal that seems to meet the county criteria to develop some sort of data center or other type of use that's similar.
Okay, so we're creating some new criteria.
Correct.
Okay, and that would be applicable to any development that seeks to come to Jackson County.
Any development that is in the same field as a data center. Yes.
Could you cite me for instance? Because either you're a data center or you're not.
If it's not a data center, it could be some other type of large load capacity development that is not considered a data center. I don't know what that would be off the top of my head, but there apparently could be something like that.
Okay, well, that would be to whose discretion? You and your staff?
Could you say that again?
That would be to whose discretion? You and your staff?
Well, it would originally come, so we would create regulations that would have to be voted on by the board, the planning commission and the board of county commissioners. So they would be approved for us to review it, but it would be my anticipation that anything that would meet those criteria would have to come back before the board.
Okay. Well, my only interest here would want to make certain that it's done in an equitable manner, okay?
Yeah, it would be applied fairly and across the board.
Okay, all right. That's all I have.
What part of that
Rank, you
language,
reckon?
what part of that language or all of it in the prior when we were going to do a moratorium? That was already there. We just including that language into this ban versus the moratorium. Right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Mr. Crutchfield, your second still stand?
Yeah.
Okay. Got a motion and a second to approve what Commissioner Donafro wants to add to it. You all right there, Captain?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
All right.
Did Mr. Spires vote yes or no?
Sir,
Did he just voted aye? I heard aye.
Dr. Spires, I about to forget you. You need to holler once in a while.
Oh, I will.
Thank you. That's all right. Yes, sir. You
Oh,
recognize, Mr.
Okay,
President.
thank you. I want to say about, I want to make a motion to delete number 10 in section 6. And my reason for that is, I think it's too easy for somebody to come in and, or the board get approved to bring like a data center in. And I think by restricting this out, it's gonna make it harder for that to happen. And I think that's what we're after here, is trying to keep the data centers out. So I'd like to make a motion to that effect.
Got a motion. Got a second, but
I'm
Right.
Did I respond to that?
you sure can.
I'm gonna vote against that, and my reasoning is this, data centers are changing, fairly rapidly. And if there were a data center or any other large use industry that were to come in and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they would not be using any water, would not be using any electricity, could prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that they would not be providing noise pollution or air pollution, noise or any other detrimental.
We can't help it. You got people back there talking, so you're not gonna be able to hear. Come forward and come right up here if you wanna hear. Come on.
Again, my concern is that if there is in the future some sort of development, whether it be a data center or any other type of industry that would potentially use a lot of resources, but if they could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that that would not be adverse, and I don't know whether that's the case or not, but they could meet all of the requirements that would be put forth, I think that we need to have the capability of being able to provide an exception to this ordinance. I mean, it would be up to this board to make that decision. And if that decision by the board members was against the wishes of our constituency, then the constituency would have an opportunity at that point in time to vote that person out. I just, I think that we do need to preserve some flexibility in this ordinance. And again, we have the capability of a board, even if this exception is not put in place, this board has the right by a simple 3-2 vote to lift that, to change that, to repeal that, this ban. So, I mean, it really is not making any difference whatsoever anyway. I mean,
I think it makes it harder. And that's what I'm trying to do, is try to make it harder. I do know, like you're saying, it could be changed. If you got a different board, you know, they may think different, or whatever comes along. But I think we need to make it as hard as we can for them to do that. So, you know, maybe we can keep it out. That's my feeling.
I agree. They need, if there is a development and it ends up being a data center, we need to make sure that we protect the natural resources and our citizens' best interests. I agree with that 1,000%. But if there is a development, whether it be a data center or any other large use industry, and that industry could come in and say, look, we're going to be using a lot of water, we're going to be using a lot of electricity, but we're going to provide 2,000 jobs. So this ordinance would ban that.
I know it probably could be changed, but I know by making it stronger, it's gonna let the public know quicker when that's gonna happen, instead of slipping it under the rug. That's my feeling.
With all due respect, I would just soon not have data centers, period. And not to please the crowd, not to please anybody. I'm raised here, I've been here all my life, as just about every one of us have. And I don't want to sell this county for dollars. Thank you, but at the same time, we've been here a long time, we've all made it. And I don't know that the data center is gonna help me make it any better in my lifetime. Now, with all due respect to every commissioner on this board, I recognize and I understand where you're coming from. And I partially accept that. But at the same time, we have all got to be and live here together. And the data center people, they'll come here and put it in and they'll go back over yonder somewhere. But we're gonna be right here. And we need to keep that in mind. And we got a second to Mr. Crutchfield's motion. Got a motion and a second to Mr. Crutchfield's motion. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
3-1. Yes, sir. Dr. Spike,
I vote in favor.
go right ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I said I vote in favor of the motion, Mr. Crutchfield made.
Thank you. 4-1.
Now we need to,
So now we need to do public comment and then y'all vote on the whole portion after that.
Okay. If you're from Jackson County, Florida, and you're on that list, come forward. I'll recognize you, and then you can speak. Thank you, ma'am. You recognize. 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3.
My name is Theron Ingle and I live in Mariana. Good morning, County Commissioners. May my words find you well today. My name is Theron Ingle and I represent my own family-operated urban farmstead called Paradise in the Panhandle. My colleague and I spoke at great length with Mr. Nocera on Saturday, June 20th, 4:15 p.m. We spoke for about an hour. Most notably, he spoke like a salesman and surely delivered a pitch not quite worthy of a medal. In line with that, I noticed, as did many other concerned citizens, that the Jackson County Times did not retain their journalistic integrity when writing for Mr. Nocera, but rather regurgitated the same materials that he offered to us, a courtesy of Bloom. For the public record, I ask that the commissioners remember that the Jackson County Times' article does not reflect the values or wishes of our greater community and has in fact come under local scrutiny because of it. We have reviewed all of the information presented and with a modicum of due diligence and research can provide some points of contention that refute Bloom's claims. 1. Bloom is not a solution for tax loss as a result of the upcoming primary homestead exemptions. Bloom has an estimated $2.2 billion in undisclosed servicing liabilities, which makes the proposed $3 to $6 million of annual taxes to Jackson County a pea puddle in an ocean. Bloom has also collected over $1.1 billion in federal, state, and local subsidies. 2. Bloom is not a green data center. Bloom energy servers emit significantly more CO2 than the electric grid in key states where it operates. This is simply a greenwashing marketing tactic to make the whole project look more palatable to an uninformed constituent. In fact, according to Hindenburg Research, 91% of the company's fuel cell products run on natural gas, which is not a renewable resource, mind you. The biogas referred to is simply a red herring. And 3, Mr. Nocera reassured us that he would, in fact, be managing the land and making sure that its correct usage is retained. However, it has been publicly disclosed that Mr. Nocera lives in Barcelona. I'll leave that as it is. To wrap things up neatly, I'm going to quote Mr. Nocera from our discussion on June 20th. Like the article said, I live in Barcelona, Spain currently. I moved there to go to art school, and I just stayed. I tell people I'm from Oregon. Thank you again, County of Commissioners.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Please be quiet, Deputy.
I'm a Florida native, I'm not from Oregon. That's not what he said.
The next one that talks, I'll put him in your car. You're gonna have to keep you quiet or we'll stop the meeting now. You recognize?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is Thomas Trofiter.
Yes.
I reside within 1,200 feet of this piece of property. I'm a Jackson County resident as well. I'm a retired disabled vet who's been poisoned by our government via Agent Orange.
God bless
So I've had those lies from the government. I've had those lies from all these different companies. Trust us. I don't trust anybody anymore. I'm sorry. I have questions for each and every one of you here. I am probably more impacted by this entire suggested plot of land than anyone in this room. I've seen Mr. Nocera's paid ad. To me, in my opinion, it's nothing but a snake oil salesman. I don't need him. I don't need what they have to offer. I moved to Jackson County with my family. I brought my sons, I brought my grandchildren all into Jackson County because we were looking for a quieter, nicer place to live. I don't need the poison that Mr. Nocera wants to suggest to us to bring in. He has no supporting data to prove all of his proclamations. But we have a larger issue, and it's called integrity or lack thereof. And it's by our senior leadership in Jackson County, because no one has addressed the fact at the 26th May Board of County Commissioners meeting, each of you voted and instructed your senior leadership to go out and look at this moratorium and be able to address a possible moratorium. On the 8th of June, somehow Mr. Nocera got some sort of preliminary approval of something that we don't know. It was a solar farm to begin with. It came with battery storage. Who knows what it really is? There's nothing but lies and deceit. On the 9th June, you stood here, all of you gentlemen were here knowing, someone had to know, that your senior leadership approved something in regards to that property. But yet you failed to say a word. I question the integrity of those people. No one's asked how or who let this happen. Those questions need to be answered. Ultimately, it falls on the hands of all 5 of you commissioners, all 5 members, as to what is going on, who is allowing the smoke and mirrors to happen, because that's what it appears like to the public. A perceived problem is a real problem to those who perceive it. And I guarantee you the majority of the people in this room perceive issues within our county. Thank you.
You recognize.
Hey, my name is Jenny Robinson and I live in Sneads, Florida. I do have not a question because I know it's not a Q&A, but just the language in the memorandum that it's large load, which means 50 megawatts or more. So would that mean anything 49.9 or less megawatts could be snuck
Speak
in?
up. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I don't want this to count.
Get
towards
that
my
mic
time.
up just a little bit, maybe I'll get
But
that.
I guess the language in the memorandum is using large load, which would mean 50 megawatts or more. So would that mean that anything that's 49.9 megawatts or lower could get snuck in? It's just a question I had. So I think myself, like a lot of other people, were kind of thrown a curveball with a Times article, which the timing was kind of interesting. You know, the purpose of a business is to make profit with low operating cost. You know, it took us, we only had a few days to educate ourselves on this technology that's very rarely, if at all, used in data centers because it's very expensive to maintain. Their purpose is, again, to make money, to do it as quickly as possible. So since there's little regulations on data centers at this time, there's not a whole lot of incentive to do change. So if there's a promise of green technology that's coming out, what are the consequences if they don't? I mean, once it's operational, it's a little too late to worry about water consumption and power grid stress and pollution. So there's a claim that there's one-time use of 2 million gallons of water, followed by a couple of thousand yearly for replenishment. And then another one says 839 once and then maybe a couple of hundred yearly, and that's a big difference. So the closed loop system, there's the pipes, the buildup in the pipes and the corrosion causes constant failures, leaks, and expensive maintenance. So that water being lost has to be replenished. It is not a one-time fill up and a couple of hundred once a year. From what I could see, the fuel cells that were stated and the facts that are mentioned are from the fuel cell manufacturers themselves and not market analysis and peer review. So that's the equivalent of saying something is true because I say so. So the fuel cell is being used on a smaller scale to supplement power supplies, but not as the main source of energy. So this technology is at this point, it's only in the promise stage or contract stages of implementing for data centers. I know that there's real concern about losing property tax revenue. These developers promised the keys to the kingdom, but I can tell you with assurance, you would be hard pressed to find many people who say their quality of life has improved or they're experiencing an economic boom. The peak tax revenue is stated at 12 to 18 months, and that's just during construction. Again, that's not jobs for us. They're bringing in their own contractors. So if they are bringing in 300 to 500 people, where are we going to put these people? Property is worth what somebody's willing to pay. If you've got 400 people willing to pay $2,000 for a $1,000 rental, Jackson County residents have no housing and they're going to have to leave. So the full-time jobs are cybersecurity, IT, and campus management. Those can be done remotely. Security companies and landscaping companies are already here, so there's no job creation. I'm sorry.
It's okay, just finish up.
So the question is, if they're saying they're not hooking up to sewer, water, or electrical, how they're going to be 40 full-time jobs there? Landscaping needs water, people need sewer and water for bathrooms and drinking water, and they need electric to power everything else. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? As a fifth-generation Floridian, it is heartbreaking to see the place that I love, my home, that is losing its soul to developers that are gobbling up every square inch for cheap developments, and now the new real estate boom, developers shoving in data centers. Please fight for our soul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You recognize.
Alan Barber, Jackson County resident. I hadn't actually planned to speak today, but I wanted to clarify something related to what the last two speakers said. One is the original ordinance, the moratorium ordinance, I believe may have specified 50 megawatts, but the current ordinance to ban under consideration today does not have that threshold. It applies to any data center, large or small. So I want to clarify that. The other thing I want to clarify regards some comments the gentleman made. I think he understandably disputed some of the claims made that were published in the article, the interview with Mr. Nacera. It was Mr. Nacera's statement that something had been submitted and approved. That statement too has to be, with all due respect, taken with a grain of salt. Nothing has been approved by the county behind the scenes. These gentlemen are not aware, unbeknownst to us, that something has been approved behind the scenes. It is my understanding, and I think staff might back this up if asked, the owner of the proposed project and the land submitted an application for a land use change, a zoning change, a use to the map. That hasn't been approved. They merely accepted the application. And that's the first step. And until a zoning change is approved, the county cannot even accept an application for a development order. That application for a zoning change is considered, whether it's complete or not. Yes, that application was accepted by the county, but it's merely the acceptance of. It's at least a 30-day process through several steps before that zoning change would be, at that point, come to this board for their consideration. So that none of that has happened yet. So I think these gentlemen here may not deserve the sorts of criticisms that you had in mind. I can understand where you're coming from, but I just wanted to clarify that about the zoning application. Nothing's been approved. Thanks.
Thank you. If y'all, and, pardon me, please, if y'all would just move up, stand in the aisle and close those doors, we might kill those gnats out. So if we could do that, that would be nice. I should have asked you to do that. And one other thing I would say, very briefly, if it's something you've already heard said, or something that's just repetitious, we see no reason for you to repeat. Now, we're gonna let you speak. We're gonna be just as nice as we can be, but we need to honor being quiet. Thank you. Go ahead. You recognize.
Okay, Sally Baptist, Compass Lakes, and I'm about 4 to 5 miles away from where this would be, data center would be. I was here last month and I mentioned the consent of the governed, and I think we still see there is no consent of the governed when it comes to Jackson County wanting this AI data center or any data center. And people need to be careful. Data centers, banks have data centers. Their data centers are all over the place, but we're talking about massive hyperscale data centers and what the intent of these data centers are really for, which has to be addressed. So the other, I did ask, I was asking the question for the clarification between the two hearings. And I'm not sure I totally understood. I may need some help on translating it into layman's terms of how this is part of the second hearing to the moratorium, when it seems like we've changed what the intent was. So that part kind of confuses me. Hopefully I can get some, maybe some clarification. And I know that others were asking about that as well. The draft of the the ordinance, it makes reference to unincorporated Jackson County, and I think people need to understand that doesn't mean all of Jackson County, and with the different municipalities, how that all plays. So what's the likelihood you could still have a data center right around the corner that you didn't want or you thought you had blocked through this effort, and what the relationship between the county and the different municipalities would be? So I want this ordinance to be as tight as it can be, no loopholes. We got to really be very diligent on how we do this. Otherwise, they will come back with another slant to it, sort of what was being said about, well, maybe things have changed now, so now we can do that different. We can go and accept it. The next board may come in here and say, well, we've changed our mind, and who knows? I mean, unfortunately, this is where the distrust and frustration comes from citizens such as myself. Everybody here seems to be on the same page that we don't need this and don't want it. Some are leaving the door a little bit more open, I think, for a future. Who knows what the future is going to bring? What makes you strong, what can also make you weak, and this data center can make you weak. The other was, okay, in reference to the article. Yeah, I did find it suspicious that there was an application for the land variance the day before the other public hearing and things like that. I'm very suspicious of the people that are engaged in this activity right now. And I think we need a lot of disclosure of what they're doing and how many other applications for change land variance in that same area with the adjoining properties. I have a very, maybe I'm paranoid, or maybe I just have seen a lot of evilness in people. I don't like what I'm seeing, and I think we need a lot of clarification on that. And the other, I'll get in real quick. I know, hopefully I try to talk fast. The other real thing that people need to understand with this is, what is the real purpose of the data center, of this AI data center? The data center that the bank does is to process your accounts and all these kind of things. That's one thing. But a data center that's here to survey us. This is all about AI information and also taking away our Fourth Amendment rights. Thank you.
You recognize.
Thank you. Thank you, board. I'm Tommy Nocera. I'm the landowner. I am a native Floridian. I want to clear that up. I never said I was from Oregon, ever. Our parcel generates $300 a year in taxes. Our facility would generate 3.5 to 6.5 million a year every year from one site. Privately funded, zero cost to taxpayers. It can pay 300, or it could pay up to 5% of this county's entire budget for services you know far more about than I do. Jobs, up to 400 local construction jobs, 40 to 60 permanent local positions paying $40,000 to $140,000 a year. Every one of those jobs supports 4 more, from restaurants to a new Publix, another 160 to 240 local jobs. Every paycheck spent here. Now, let me be clear. I support banning bad data centers. The ones that scare this community are grid connected and evaporative cooled. They abuse the grid and suck gallons of water. We are the opposite. We make electricity from gas with nearly 0 emissions, no light pollution, 35 megawatts. Closed loop, our water is sealed in and recirculated. So ban them, I agree with you, pass this ordinance. But this board is allowed to exempt a project that doesn't present those dangers. You built in that tool on purpose. I'm asking you to use it or another tool. Water, a one-time fill of 539,000 gallons, then sealed. After that, 8,000 gallons a year, less than 1 household. Deep well only, biodegradable, non-toxic fluid used. 0 discharge ever. You won't see us behind 70-foot trees. You won't hear us under 65 decibels, quieter than this conversation. A motocross track and a junkyard sit across the highway. We are the cleanest, quietest business that corner will ever hold. We filed June 8th in good faith at your staff's direction before this ban existed. Unity Cloud's letter of interest came June 2nd. We disclosed it June 3rd. On June 5th, the community development director instructed me to file a small-scale amendment. We filed June 8th under the guidelines of the sub 50 megawatt moratorium. We followed every step of your staff gave us. We're not asking you to bend the rules. So pass the ban, protect Jackson County from the bad actors, but don't throw away millions in taxes and hundreds of jobs from a clean source along with it. You can do both. And if you need more info before granting an exception, let us through the normal process, the Planning Commission, a public hearing where every fact is heard from our engineers before the door is slammed shut on a green economic engine for this county. $300 or up to 5% of the county budget from one parcel. I respectfully ask you to allow us the opportunity to present that project. I welcome your questions. What can I answer for you?
You can answer the question if you got that on paper, everything you're promising. You
Yes,
have
sir.
that on paper.
Yes, and we
Mail
would,
it to
and we would bring our
mail
engineers.
it to the developer.
Does anyone else have any questions for me?
Time's up. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You recognize.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Sarah Evans and I live in Mariana. Mr. Nocera posted a website with facts to his data center over the weekend, and I want to highlight some of the discrepancies that I've found. For water, he mentions on page 2 a $539,000 or gallon drawdown and then 8,200 gallons per year. On page 21 of that same website, he mentions a 2 million gallon drawdown and a few thousand gallons per year drawdown, which is different than what he's put here. For taxes, he mentioned 2.9 to 3.5 million on page 3. He told that to the Jackson County Times. To News Channel 13 and on page 12 of his website, he mentions 4 million to 6.75 million. Here he mentioned 3.5 to 6.5 million. But from what he's saying, most of that is going to come from tangible personal property tax. On page 14 of his website, he notes that depreciation schedules will apply. On page 5, he mentions pending applicable incentives, I'm assuming from the county. For jobs, he mentioned 40 permanent on-site jobs on page 3. On page 12, 60 to 90 jobs ranging from 55,000 to 140,000. On page 16, he has a table of jobs that tally up between 76 and 122 jobs, the lowest of which is a janitor for 35,000 and security for 40,000. He mentions that a lot of these jobs will be above Jackson County's median average, but according to the Census Bureau, that average is 49,000. So I have some concerns about that. Another thing that he talks about is the construction cost that will generate a lot of income in our community from the construction costs. But on page 20, the community benefit package, he mentions a 30% local facilities and services procurement target. So I would question how much of that budget is actually going to come to us in our community. On page 27, he mentions Project Jupiter out of New Mexico as an example of a data center working with the community. But I looked that up. The community is just like us. They don't want it. Project Jupiter should generate $18 billion in taxes for that community. But through the community benefits agreement, they pay $0 in taxes and they give $12 million a year to that county, which is 0.067% of what they should be paying in taxes. The website seems to be made by unitycloud.ai, and on their website, they target Native American tribal lands for data centers because they have less regulation and oversight than somewhere like here. But finally, what's most important to me is what's not in the website, what's not in the interviews, what's not in the articles. There is no long-term commitment to our community. There is no promise to be around to solve any issues that come up. And there's not even promise that he will make someone available to be here if issues arise. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
You're recognized.
Yes, sir. My name is Robert Dillon. I'm actually a new resident in Jackson County over the past couple of years. Sold my business down in mid-state, moved up here with my family solely for the intent of providing a better life for them. I have 4 young children. I was always taught by my grandfather to leave something better than which you received it. And I truly feel this is an opportunity for you to leave it better than this data center is going to do. My wife and my children are all registered native. I can tell you one thing for certain: if this data center comes to fruition, it will effectively eliminate Jackson County as a safe haven for us. We came here with the sole intent of homesteading and providing a less technologically sound life for our children. So if moving forward, you're trying to stay on the cutting edge of everything, yeah, then you do what you do. But it's going to drive out residents that are here for a simple life, and it's going to lose some of what I believe has the charm that we fell in love with up here. So I hope and pray that you all can find another reason other than numbers and figures and stats, kind of a little bit more simplistic. I know I may be one of the younger individuals here today, but I think all of our predecessors might be a little up in arms at what we're actually talking about here, which is natural resources being taken and overall, money. That's what we're talking about here, is money. What money can we bring in? And if that's where we're going to focus and centralize, then unfortunately Jackson County will probably have a much different landscape moving forward. If you like it the way that it is now, I'd say this needs to not come to fruition. But I didn't even plan on speaking today. I felt compelled to do so. Hopefully you individuals can feel compelled to do what you feel is right. And may you sleep in the bed that you make. So thank you for your time.
Good morning. I'm
Good morning.
Craig Brown,
You're
proud
recognized.
Jackson County resident.
You're recognized.
Yeah, you know me by now.
Yes,
So I'm very interested in this, but I'm going to take after Commissioner Westbrook. Let's plain speak this. Let's make one thing very clear. Mr. Nocera is not asking to have the land rezoned so his family can build a data center. He is asking the rezoning from agricultural so he can sell this to a giant corporation, so the giant corporation can come in and build a data center. Anything he says or promises will not be followed once this corporation comes in and starts building this data center. They will do whatever they want. You're doing the right thing by not approving the rezoning and by going forward with this ban. And I applaud you and I appreciate it. There's so many people have referenced the problems with this.
one of the things that's really kind of crazy is the solid oxide fuel cells that they're proposing as clean energy. They hold promise, but they're in the preliminary proof of concept phase. No data center is running entirely off these solid oxide fuel cells. They may get there one day, but they're not there now. And just to give you an example, it's going to cost them at least $900 per kilowatt hour to generate electricity with these. Whereas if you burn natural gas, it costs you between 3 cents and 5 cents to generate a kilowatt hour. So what's going to happen is they'll put some fuel cells and some solar panels in as part of the plan so they can get the federal tax credit, which there are a lot of federal tax credits out there for energy. Energy Act of 2025 opened that up. That will help them reduce their taxes, and they will put in turbine generators for backup. All the data centers use them for backup generators, big gas turbines. These things will burn anything. They'll burn natural gas, they'll burn fossil fuel, diesel, fuel oil, anything that's gas or oil and flammable, these things will burn. Make a lot of heat, they make pollutants. And the worst thing about the solid oxide fuel cells is the heat. Those things run at between 1100 to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. They are blast furnaces. They have to have special stacks just to vent the heat out of the fuel cells. So while they might use a closed loop system to cool the CPUs, that's not going to work for these stacks. That's going to be heat going straight up or some kind of evaporative emissions. So we may get there one day. I hope we do. I hope we get technology that's clean and green, and we can replace Florida Public Utilities, because we all know what fun that is. I vote for that. Thank you very much. Thank you for what you're doing here today. Yes, sir. Thank you. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Loretta Forster. I live in Indian Springs. I'm in favor of the ban, and I've reviewed the second draft. I continue to have concerns about the number and a variety of exceptions. There are even more now than in the previous draft, even with the removal of number 10, and thank you for that. We have had a new exception added courtesy of Commissioner Donifro. I find that unfortunate. I will have to hope that these exceptions do not substantially weaken the force of the ban or leave the county vulnerable to malicious litigation. That being said, I have something new to say. I'd like to offer my thanks and appreciation to the following: Kim Cole-Sweezy and her staff, who may have been the very first ones to recognize the risks of Project 231. Jim Dean for bringing it to the commissioner's attention. Commissioner Westbrook for your calm leadership, particularly over the last month. The commissioners who joined with you to take swift action to protect Jackson County from this and similar threats. And last but not least, to the many Jackson County citizens who have shown up, stood up, and spoken up. I'm very proud of you. I'm also very proud of my husband, who just spoke prior to me. Thank you very much.
Y'all standing up at one time. You recognize Ms. Shaw?
Thank you. I appreciate what Commissioner Crutchfield did before, and also all of you by recognizing the fact that this ordinance could be changed and that there should be things in the ordinance that prohibit or make it more difficult. So when I reread the ordinance, I recognize the fact that it doesn't include a section for penalties and enforcement. And I thought that that might be a good idea, because people will come here and unfortunately not tell the truth. So maybe we need a section in the ordinance that says violation and penalties, whereas penalties for any person, corporation who violates any provision of the ordinance including but not limited to attempt to establish, construct, expand, intensify, or operate a data center or associated facility under a different name, because that's what we also have going on. They use multiple names to cite the same thing. By misrepresenting the nature or use of this facility should be subject to civil penalties, code enforcement penalties, criminal penalties, but most important, injunctive relief for the county so that we are not on the hook for any lawsuit or anything that has to be presented, any feasibility studies, anything that goes along with this should be the burden of the applicant, not the county. So I think maybe we could put in there a section and maybe add something to the ordinance that says if they are misrepresenting who they are or bring in shell companies and we're not dealing with the right people, that there are penalties that go along with it. And in my last question, I wanted to ask you all, who's collecting this data? Where does this data come from? Who is responsible? But most important, who owns the data that's being collected? And do you want to be watched 24/7? Because that's what comes with this. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is,
You're recognized.
thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Jared Massey, a Jackson County resident. I'm one of the newer ones. Came here in March with my family, small young family, just like the other gentleman was talking about. I did want to address some of the things that I saw here today by Mr. Nocera. He was on his phone constantly the whole time when that young lady came up here and kind of said, hey, this is what I talked to him about. He got in her face, started yelling, right? As a new resident of Jackson County, y'all have been extremely welcoming, and I appreciate y'all for welcoming me. Now, he likes to come off in the media as, hey, this is almost better than farming, right? His little corn reference and, hey, this is almost better than corn. Well, last time I checked, corn does not need a special emergency exception in policies and procedures to make sure corn goes well, right? Now, in looking at the ordinances, there's some things that I'd like to propose that y'all consider. First being a decommissioning escrow. So before even construction happens, 150% to decommission and restore the land if something is built there, right? Because like the gentleman said previously, these companies are buying up the land from Mr. Nocera, building these data centers, and then how long do they last? 5, 10 years? Then who's on the hook? Jackson County residents are. Next, I propose a citizen technical review board made up of citizens from the county to review documents. They don't have a lot of power other than keeping everybody in check, reviewing stuff, asking questions, reviewing documentation, sitting in meetings, right? This proposal started out as a solar farm with battery storage, then it went to a greenhouse, which was just advertising according to Mr. Nocera, right? So who knows what the names of these projects are going to be. That's why we need to regulate by impact. If they're claiming no impacts, awesome. Well, then y'all select an independent review paid for by the applicant, and then we go from there. A straight up ban, they will come up with different names for different things, and they will make changes. All right. I do have some documentation I'll hand to your attorney so you guys can review, and I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
My name is Tom Hicks. I live on Compass Lake, and I bought that property in '84, and I've been living there for 25 years, permanent. I hope Mr. Westbrook will fact check me on some of the things. That lake 100 years ago supplied water for a sawmill that ran, I'm assuming, every day. There hasn't been any water extracted from that lake. The lake is down 1.5 feet, even with all the rain, and there hasn't been any water exiting that lake for about a year. Now, years ago, I snorkeled that lake. On the north end, there were sand springs. They're not there anymore. the artesian flow has stopped or slowed down, going in that lake. And I'm sure you're aware of Lake Jackson dried up, Ocheesee dried up. Something's going wrong with the aquifer feed. And, of course, the aquifers feed each other, and this is one of the things, Mr. Westbrook, the northern aquifers feed the lower aquifers. So we're losing some of that, we know. And then the aquifers being extracted by agriculture and municipalities. But we need to put a moratorium on drilling deep wells in close proximity to Compass Lake, and try to keep that one from drying up. I live on the shallow side, so we're gonna be the first one to lose it. But most of the points I want to make have already been made. I'm not gonna, but after seeing and hearing their representative, I don't have much hope that that's gonna fly. So I won't beat a dead horse. But think about that on the lake. If there's anybody who want to put not agriculture, you can't stop that, but large extraction from deep wells, it's gonna hurt that lake. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir, we thank you, and I would remind you that's controlled by the Northwest Florida Water Management District. And most of the wells in the Compass Lake area are 10 gallon a minute, maybe 18 or 20 gallon a minute. There's not any big wells there that I'm aware of. There may be some there, because I hadn't been there since they started drilling wells, and that's been a long time. So bear that in mind. Those are mostly permitted for houses. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, you recognize.
Thank you. My name is Beverly Cowan. I also live on the Compass Lake, right near where Mr. Hicks lives. I want to say something new, which is that my husband has Parkinson's disease. If anybody knows what it is, it's uncontrollable shaking, just like I am doing. Excuse me. The data centers will make our life miserable. His life. Sorry, but I can't even describe to you what it's like to have Parkinson's disease, and he's doing pretty well. However, if Mr. Donofrio makes an exception, what are we going to do? We'll be in a grave, maybe, or he will. The health has not been addressed. The health of people. There have been cowboys coming before their commissions and telling you, their commissions, that none of their cattle is having calves. No calves. What is it doing to them? Humans is what they're saying. And I'm saying to you, don't let this happen. Put a lid on it as best you can, and I appreciate you for doing all your due diligence. And I'm sorry that it makes me so upset. But I can't help it, especially being married 44 years to the same wonderful man. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. You recognize.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us speak here today, ladies and gentlemen.
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I need to speak a little louder. Thank you for having us here today. Thank you for allowing us to speak for our community. I am also pretty new. I bought property here about 2 years ago. I'm a registered nurse, and I've worked in many different types of fields.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you. We chose this area because of its remoteness, and we chose it because the community was amazing. We chose it because there was no data centers. So I don't have a lot of data on data centers. I've heard reports, farmers losing their farm, people not being able to use their water, infertility for sure. I worked in OB ICU for 3 years, and I've watched fertility plummet. I've watched a lot of babies die. So we came here to be healthier, be in a healthier community. So when I got the notice that you guys were considering doing a data center here, I spent everything that I had to come here. Then I don't want to leave. I would rather you guys vote on the right things and protect the community from things like this. And you're gonna hear a lot of things from people who want to sell you this project. And they're gonna say, oh, they're gonna sell you everything. It's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna pay for all this. It's only gonna be this much water, and there's gonna be this much emissions. The FOIA requests from other data centers are showing that they're not being honest. And it's only after they're built that you realize this, after they've destroyed the land and the water and the community. So I would advise you to please look into some other FOIA requests that have been done on these data centers and show that they have not been honest. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Savannah Dillon.
Hi, my name is Donald Bailey, or this is my hat.
Recognize.
Yes, I've been a citizen of Jackson County for the last 20 years. My kids went to school here also, and I'm always looking for the future of Jackson County for the young people. It's all about the next generation. What are they gonna do? I mean, I live in Mariana, and it's a lot of high unemployment, very high unemployment. And I just asked Jackson County, I'm supporting of the data center because I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at the next generation. And you should always, my mom always say, look both sides. I mean, before you cross the street, just look both ways and give us a shot. I'm a fiber optic company. I've been in business for 20 years. Also, I does fiber optic construction. And we also, I did work for AT&T. I done worked for several companies down in Homestead. I did construction down in Miami, also did it in Alabama. And so I'm always hiring young men and looking for labor for the young people. And like I said, if a man don't eat, a man don't work, a man don't eat. And I believe that.
Thank you.
I rest my case.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. Yes, it's me again. My name is Doreen Quincy.
You recognize.
Thank you. Mr. Westbrook, we've heard a lot of stuff. We've heard all the stats about the data centers. We have some very alarming stats included. One of the things that I'm deeply concerned about is this man probably isn't being as transparent as he should be. I want to know who's backing him. I want to know where that money's coming from. I want to know who his investors are. We've asked for the wildlife studies. We've asked for, let's do the impact studies before you approve anything. Now, you mentioned today that this could possibly be overturned by the next set of county commissioners. Know this, these are voters standing here, and we will not vote for somebody that's for this, no matter where you sit now or where you sit in the future. I will tell you this right now, I'm dead set against this. I'm dead set against having any corporations come in here to ruin this community. You've heard people in tears here begging you to think. I see at least 3 of you on this commission that are right there at retirement age. I see 2 more coming up going, let's plan for the future. Okay, I have a problem with this man. My problem with this man is he showed up here today, and I'll bet you every one of you sitting up there right now has on a pair of socks. He doesn't. I'm sorry. That shows disrespect. That not being dressed properly. We know that you go to church and you dress properly. We know that you go to a meeting of professional people and you dress properly. I watched that man just attack somebody that had statistics about based on what he said. And he just attacked them. If you don't think there's bigger money behind him, guess again. The money that's behind him doesn't give a rat's patoot about this place. The people that are standing here do. I will beg you to make it a permanent ban that cannot be overturned. That's somewhere in legal language that you can set it in stone. Do it for the Stone Motel, for the Stones that founded Jackson County. Do it for the people that have farmed this area. No, you cannot compare corn to a data center. I can eat an ear of corn. We do not have the infrastructure or the emergency services to handle any kind of a spill. Thank you for handling my objections.
You recognize.
I've never been up here before. I'm about to say.
Speak up.
My name is Darnell. I've been a Jackson County resident since 2020, and I'm for the data center. And I wasn't going to do this, but I saw someone else came up here complaining about people. So I'm going to complain about people. I was sitting in the back row, and a lot of them in the back row being very disrespectful to this man. I understand he'll be disrespectful to people, but a lot of them would be disrespectful towards him, talking over him while he was doing there. A man over there talking about he got no special rights. A man over there in the back was talking mess. But I'm past that.
You gonna speak to us about the data center?
Yes, sir. I'm about to speak to you about the data center now.
That's what I recognize you for.
So, from what I understand, people main complaint about the data center is that there's the water consumption. From what I understand, this data center is not going to use a lot of water, and they don't make it even worse. Down the street from here, there was a fire hydrant that wasted a lot of water for 3 hours straight, and nobody cared about it at all, sir. Actually, I can see now people don't care. I'm hearing people in the background talking about me right now, so I'm gonna give up, sir.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to?
Well, ma'am, you've already been up there one time now.
Can I submit something to you?
Right there's the man,
It
right
is
there.
the interview that my colleague and I had with Mr. Nocera.
Thank you. You've already been here one time, though.
That's correct, sir, but I would like to rebut what she submitted. They haven't allowed.
Is there anybody else in here who wants to speak? We about running out of time.
My name is Autumn Chrysostom. I'm about 7th or 8th generation Jackson County resident. And I would
Speak
just
louder if you can, ma'am.
all right. I would just like to remind you guys that governments are instituted among men deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. And you see here today that the consent of the governed is that you would listen to us and our concerns of this AI data center and ban it permanently, even if a new council were to come in. And even though I disagree with Mr. I don't know your last name. No, Sarah. I would like to say I respect him as a child of God, and I don't agree with him at all. But I just hate to see all this division and the hate against him, even though he doesn't agree with us. But I'll just leave you with one thought. Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found faithful. And I just want you guys to, I believe that you know in your heart what is the right thing to do here. And I believe that you should listen to the governed. And I just ask that you guys would steward well what the Lord has given us with this land. And I am a part of the next generation. I'm 23 years old, and my generation, I don't know a single one of us that is for AI in any shape or form. So I plead with you to ban this permanently, even if a new council were to come in. Thank you.
Would you agree with me that we've been a pretty good audience, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is someone online, Mr. Westbrook, whenever.
Okay. All right, let's get this gentleman right here. You're recognized. Then we'll go to the person online.
My name is Marcel George Meyer Jr. I live on McCormick Lake. I've been there 3 years, and I moved down because Jackson County is in the Bible Belt. I find it very refreshing to people who know manners and that they treat one another with dignity and respect.
That's correct.
Now, as far as what's going on here, I keep hearing a lot about taxes. And while the developer has promoted significant new tax revenue for Jackson County, I am concerned about the use of a tax increment financing, TIF, district under Florida's Community Redevelopment Act Chapter 163, Part 3, Florida statutes, specifically Section 163.387. Under a TIF, the county would first designate the area as a community redevelopment area, CRA, which requires a formal finding that the land is slum or blighted. The current agriculture property value would then be frozen as the base year. Any increase in the property taxes generated by the new data center, the tax increment, would be diverted into a special redevelopment trust fund. By default, 95% of the increment goes into the fund, though it can be lowered to 50% by ordinance. These funds can only be spent inside the CRA boundaries on the project's related infrastructure for their roads, site preparation, debt services, or maintenance costs tied directly to the development. They cannot be used for general county services such as for the sheriff's department, emergency services, parks or roads outside the district. Importantly, Florida's law exempts school boards from TIF captures. Schools would keep their full share of the new taxes. This means the financial burden of the TIF falls primarily on the county's general fund, the very budget that pays for the day-to-day services our residents rely on. In short, a large proportion of the millions in new tax revenue being promised would not actually reach the county's operating budget. We would still bear the full burdens of the increased water usage from the Florida aquifer, strain on the emergency services and the power grid, potential's impact to our rural infrastructure, and long-term aquifer protection concerns while receiving only a fraction of the financial benefit presented. I respectfully urge the Commission to closely examine any proposed TIF agreement and the redevelopment plan before considering any changes to the recent passed ban on the data center. The ban was enacted to protect our aquifer and rural character.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes, yes. Are we about finished?
Remember that we have someone online.
Yes, sir. I understand. I was just making sure somebody spent the time to come to this meeting and somebody's online, the different subject with me. The person online on Zoom, please go begin. You got 3 minutes.
As a reminder to anyone on Zoom to use the raise hand feature or *9 from a telephone. The first hand I have is phone number ending in 634.
You finished?
They'll need to unmute themselves.
Okay. I just unmuted. All right, cool. You guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, my name is Evan Ross Davis. I'm 6th, 7th generation North Floridian. I got kinfolk all the way from Washington County to Calhoun to right here in Jackson. The Ellie Krigler house is where half of my relatives were brought down from North Carolina back in the 1800s, okay? When I see a project like this, I like to think technically. That's my background. I worked in this industry for 15 years. No emotions. I'm not going to sit up here and say that people crying or getting all emotional or taking this the right way. These county commissioners have to make logical decisions about the future of Jackson County. So the more you get up here and talk about how you're going to move because of this project, or it's going to, cause the stars to come out of the sky or the aquifers to dry up, that's understandable. But a lot of that stuff is not grounded in reality, okay? This county needs jobs. I'm not saying that's going to be fixed by data centers at all. I'm in IT. I would like to see IT jobs be brought here to Northwest Florida because there are no other industries. So when people get up here and try to steer these county commissioners, especially those, with all due respect, who just moved down here, I think it's a little bit of my business to interject myself and my credentials, okay? I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I manage IT infrastructure all across the country. Over $1.8 billion worth of IT infrastructure, okay? There's not a person in that room can tell you what a data center is or a data center does. There's not a person in that room can tell you what AI is or AI does, okay? So I'm begging the county commissioners to take a reasonable, rational approach to this thing and pull together.
Thank you.
Put together a small committee of professionals who can actually talk to this issue and understand the metrics behind a project like this. And again, I'm not saying this project should be approved, but there should at least be some rationality in making these types of decisions for the future of Jackson County. Because I don't want to leave. I want to make sure I can work and my kids can work and their kids can work right here in this area. But as it stands, the median income is $20,000 a year, okay? So anybody who wants to talk about industries or new jobs or new constructions coming in this area, you need to keep that in mind before you start talking about how Jackson County should run for the next couple of years, okay? That's just my point right there. So thank you guys for your time, and I really appreciate, you allowing me to speak. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there in person. I got work to do. I'm in meetings all day. But if you guys want to reach out to me, again, my name is Evan Ross Davis, and I own an IT company right here in Marietta, Florida. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. You got 1 minute, sir.
Yep.
I would just respectfully ask that the commission allow the company behind this, Green Capital Energy and Unity Cloud, to come forward and present to the board what this is and what this isn't, and how this can benefit Jackson County. I would also like to respectfully submit that the research opposition presented by the young woman in beige is from a short selling company that short sells the stock. So that is the purpose of that opposition research. And also, I never said I was from Oregon. I've never been to Oregon, so that was just factually incorrect. But are there any questions that you have for me that I could answer right now?
Thank you. Anybody have a question? We've been here about 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
We probably won't run out of questions.
Thank you for your time. I'll just allow us the consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like we just about finished. This lady don't want to sell our water.
Was there anyone else on Zoom, Fred?
Yes.
I see no other hands.
You don't see any other hands?
No, sir.
All right. We done? Finished.
You got to vote on it.
Yes.
You got to vote on the ordinance?
Yes.
All right, we got to come back. Vote on order. All in favor of the ordinance, if you can remember.
We didn't need a motion to approve the ordinance as amended.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the ordinance here as amended earlier.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the ordinance as amended. Anybody got anything else to discuss about?
No, I have the concern that I've raised, and I'm gonna be like Commissioner Chairman Westbrook. I may vote for this, but I'm gonna hold my nose and vote for it. Because I really do think that we're showing ourselves short by removing this exemption. But I also understand that this commission has the capability to lift this ban in any kind. I don't know that there'll be an opportunity. I don't know that there'll be a specific project that would meet my parameters for allowing a data center or any other large resource usage type company to come in unless they could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it would be in the best interest of Jackson County. Well, the young man that just spoke on the Zoom, two things that I hear most, other than just recently, is we need jobs to keep our young people here in Jackson County, and we need tax revenue to keep our roads maintained. And so those are considerations that we as commissioners have to take into account in all of the decisions that we make. And that's all I've got to say.
I have one statement.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead. I was going to speak, but go ahead, Dr. Spire.
You can go on if you need to.
Dr. Spire?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to request that the clerk would read back to me again the amendments, please, to the motion.
Well, yeah, you can speak, but make it quick.
Mr. Knowles is willing to summarize those two amendments for Dr. Spire.
Okay,
Okay.
I didn't know that was Dr. Spire. I recognize the voice. But anyway, that's fine.
So the two amendments, the first amendment or change, I'll say, is from Commissioner Donifro, and that was to add section 8 of the moratorium, which directs staff to make the appropriate and necessary arrangements to add changes to the comprehensive plan and the land development code to regulate data centers pursuant to Senate Bill 484, which will come in effect on July 1st. I believe that was a 5-0 vote, if I'm not mistaken. And then Commissioner Crutchfield's change to the ordinance was to remove subsection 10 of section 6, which was an amendment, or I'm sorry, an out of sorts to allow the board to consider applications that potentially were not data centers, but that may have had similar characteristics to those. So we've removed section 6, subsection 10, and we've added to subsection 7, prior section 8 of the moratorium language that he read into the record.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chairman likes to speak, he can be recognized. Most everybody that's got a job, they wanted one. When you don't want one, you won't have one. And I recognize that we have people that want jobs. And I have all the respect in the world for you stating that. I mean, no qualm by that. But at the same time, everybody that wants a job has got one. And every one of us sitting up here has had one or two for a long time. But I respect all that. But anyway, I do not, again, I want to make the statement that I do not want to sell Jackson County, Florida to the data center people or anyone that operates like that under a cloak of hiding. With all due respect to you, yes, I see you shake your head and I understand that, but I still, and you may not be one of the ones, but there's a doggone sure a bunch of them out there. Because, yes, sir. So I respect what you want to do. I just don't want to see it in a county of 42, 44, 45,000 people that are blessed with a beautiful county, a beautiful area. And I may be wrong there. If I do, I'll stand corrected. But at the same time, I do not want to this county to have to sell this county for jobs or money. Well, we still got to vote. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
I will say this. I don't know a lot about data centers. I was told the other day that I use some things from data centers. I don't know what I do or not, but I don't know a lot about it. But what I do know is that I got elected to represent a certain number of people in my district. But all the people in my district, a certain number of people in Jackson County. And I can't, whether I want it or don't want it, and I don't, but whether I do or I don't, I have to represent the wishes of those people. I think that's what comes up with the word representative. You know, if I can't represent my people, I need to go on about my business somewhere. And as much as I have talked to people and gotten emails from people and phone calls from people, there's no doubt in my mind, the people I represent does not want it. So therefore, I don't want it.
You recognize it, good, Bill?
I feel the same way, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I came up whenever didn't even have cell phones. So I don't know a lot about the data center, but I do know that what I've heard, it takes a lot of water, a lot of energy out of the county and all that, and we don't need to do that. You know, we're an agricultural county, and I think we need to stay agricultural county. And I got, at home, I didn't bring it, but I got a paper 3 times this paper, both sides of people that called or either I've been on my phone or against the data center. And I'm like Commissioner Branch, we were voted in to represent the people, and I think that's what we need to stand behind.
Y'all ready to vote for the order? Y'all ready to vote? All in favor? I've already got a motion and a second, right? That's what I thought.
No, I was just agreeing with.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Dr. Byers, you still with us? Forever hold your peace. Anyway, I guess that does it. Young man, if you want 1 minute, you come forward.
Yes, sir. I would just like to address the question on water. Again, it's a one-time fill of 539,000 gallons of water. I know that I've made, and that is the science. Please let me speak. That is less water than a 77-acre field of cotton or peanuts would use in a single day, which is an honest living and a good living. And I agree that this is an agricultural county, but we have a 70-foot wall of trees. You will not see us. You will not hear us. We do not have neighbors within 500 feet. And
With all due respect,
yes, sir.
I have water use permit,
Yes, sir.
bunch of them. They're all recorded with the state and all that goes with it. With all due respect to you, in agriculture, in a cotton field, in a corn field, in a peanut field, it won't make a difference if it's black daisy. Agriculture uses that water for approximately 3 months.
Okay.
Sometime a lot less. Lately, in the last month or so, none.
Yes, sir.
So remember when you make a statement about water
To clarify
and the
it.
use of it in this county,
Then the better comparison should be the water bottling plant.
not that I want to bring any attention to myself, because I get plenty anyway.
The water bottling plant uses
It's my turn. I'm
18.5.
talking
Yes,
right
sir.
now. You out of order. All right, may I speak?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I've been a well driller for 49 years and 3 months, and I'm sure you know that. Now, if you want to answer me, that's fine. Go ahead. We're fixing to wind all this up and go
Yeah,
right to me.
The water bottling plant uses 18.5 million gallons of water from the aquifer. Nobody seems to have a problem with that. We're asking for a sip of water, 539,000 gallons one time, 8,000 a year after that, 35 megawatt data center. It provides jobs. The ranges in the documents are because it was a range, like there's a range of options before you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And the
you.
Northwest Florida Water Management District will hold you to that with a flow meter
And we
every
would-
day. We're finished. Thank you.
Okay.
We can go hearing's over with unless y'all got something else.
Each of them take a break.
Yes, sir. Let's take a 5-minute recess. And we figure to start, y'all get little out there, I got to sit here and run this gavel. I'm not gonna break the top out of it.
I'm gonna throw it at you. But,
Remove that lady from this building.
yeah, but please, the last time you guys county sheriff removed me, I was holding skillet, cast iron skillet and a butcher knife. And told me, don't you walk in my house and tell me.
Oh.
No, I promise you. Back then.
Read the first.
Thank you again.
Yes, ma'am, you're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate it.
You see Bob Butterworth, you tell him I said hello.
I will.
I know him very well. Okay, Mr. Dean, your turn.
Ready to get started, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll move into, section 4. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda, items A through F. And we'll answer any questions if you have.
There's, before we get into that, there's the one on the, about the attorney fees on that.
F. That
Which
would
one
be
is-
1F.
Okay, good, just
Just
one.
one. Separate.
Right, that'd be fine. All right,
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion that the consent agenda items be approved, items A through E plus item F, is added by Mr. Day.
yeah, that's because of the chairperson. Okay. All right,
Second.
all in favor? Move along. All right, but now, item F is a real sore spot with me. I understand the board just don't have anything to do with trying to influence the board or anything else. It's just stuck in my craw to pay $230,000 for attorney fees. I like attorneys. I got no problem with any of it. But to pay those attorney fees for something that we really don't feel like, or I don't feel like, excuse me, that we are getting our money's worth for $230,000. And that's all about the little piece of land out there in Mount Tabor that our former attorney didn't do anything with it for years, in my opinion. So there we are. Yeah, I recognize it. Our good.
Can I just say one thing? That's not $231,000 to us.
Oh, no.
I just want to make that clear. That's
Not
not
at
coming to
all.
us.
You are in your pay, and that's fine. We satisfied with, at least I am individually, and I don't care who knows that. But anyway, that's just something I think we ought to discuss a little bit, provided y'all wanna vote whatever way you wanna vote, that's fine, but
I will say this, and I agree 100% with you. It's an unfortunate situation that this board had absolutely nothing to do with. You know, I think it's the only prudent action that we can take at this point in time, because I think trying to go backwards would end up costing more money than what we're looking at now.
well, and all due respect to everybody here, even everybody in the room, at some point in time, we got to have a position of saying no to something like that. And it's just unbelievable that it would be that much money over that period of time, over that simple. I believe we paid what, correct me if I'm wrong, Council. We paid what, $12,000 for a place that was about as big as this room.
I don't know if it's even as big as this room. It's small. It was very small.
Yeah.
But
And
it's a
right
10-year-old
across-
case.
It's right in my neighborhood of, not in my district, but in the neighborhood of where my farm is and all. And there's other stuff.
It should have been settled. Quickly.
Yes.
It was a taking of property. I think it was proven beyond a doubt that it was a taking of property, and it should have been settled quickly and for a lot less money.
I gave them.
Again, this board had nothing to do with that.
I gave them 3 miles of right of way at my place to build a road, and the road was well we were pleased. We're well pleased with it now. There's other property in that area that deeds were not signed. And that's all I'll say. The deeds were not signed on a lot of that right of way out there. So, I don't know if it's, and council, you'll have to tell us if we got any comeback on all that, lack of a better word. That's a lot of money this county really don't have to spend.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I know, I've been involved in stuff like that before, and, if there's any way, I'll be sure, if there's any way to get out of it, win, whatever, go farther, whatever, but there's no way out, it can cost you more money. You know, do I wanna give them that much money? No, no. But I do know if it's gonna cost more money, then it's better to go ahead and get out of it. You know, if we could push it farther and try to save money, or are they gonna cost more money?
It's a situation where the fees are due to the fact that in the eminent domain statute, when government takes your property, the government is responsible for payment of those fees. So for this particular case, the original amount was in the $270,000 range. So we were able to get some costs down through some of the people that the opposing counsel had hired, and then also negotiate a little bit of a lower fee arrangement with that. So if we were to go to a trial, we'd be back at that top number that we had. So we would do that. Certainly that's within the board's will. We'll take that, take that task on. We probably need to get a fee expert, to examine the reasonableness and, the amount of fees that are there. That would cost us some money. I don't know what that cost would be.
And I want to ask you another question about that. If you might not, and I yield to you if you don't know, I understand. But at the same time, what would have been a fair settlement there, in your opinion?
It's such a long case. It's very difficult to go back and say,
put you on spot.
what would be fair. We would have to do a real deep dive with a fee expert to not only determine the reasonableness of the fees, and I'm not saying reasonable or unreasonable. I'm just saying that would be the task of that expert to come in and do that for us. Of course, we'd have to pay them to determine whether the hourly rate was fair, to determine whether the costs that are incurred by their experts were fair. Again, this was a case from 2017. So this predates pretty much, I think, everyone here,
Yes.
Including myself and the administrator. So
remember when the road was built?
So this has been going on for a while. There was a bit of a lull, I think, from 2017 to about 2019, 2020. Then things started ramping up during COVID. There were 300 docket entries in this case. So it's been going on for a while. We could potentially reach savings in a court of law, but just getting to that point would probably cost us more money. So if we started at the top number of the $270-something thousand, we'd have to at least get the difference between what we're paying here today, again, not to us, but what we're paying here today. We'd have to realize those savings at a fee hearing trial, which again would incur cost of both legal fees for us, for opposing counsel, our experts, perhaps their experts. It could get perhaps more costly, but then there could be the opportunity to try and recoup some of those costs and
provided you were charging.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm trying to learn something. Provided that you were in the other person's position and you went right direct to court and you thrashed it out, win, lose, or draw, what kind of fees would you have charged?
I don't do eminent domain work. I would charge my base hourly rate, whatever that is. And seriously, I'm not trying to be evasive, but whatever that hourly rate is for the work that we've completed, that would be what we would charge if we were on the other side. That's the point of the fee expert, is that someone who can say, I'm skilled in this particular area of law, this particular niche law, and I can come in and say, let's say the hourly rate isn't this, but for the sake of round numbers, $1,000 an hour. Well, that's totally unreasonable. It should be more in line with this, based on this particular attorney's experience in the field, et cetera, their years of practice, what they've done. They can look at different billings and different entries that have been put into their billing log and say, maybe it shouldn't have taken you 3 or 4 hours. But then again, we're still relying on the ability to come in and say, this is an unreasonable rate, or this is an unreasonable entry, it shouldn't have taken you that much time, that's very subjective. So if we get in, could we realize savings? Absolutely. Could we be on the plane where we reach about the same amount? Absolutely. But could we be hit with a bit more? Absolutely. We deal in absolutes, unfortunately, with some of these items. So I think the most prudent path forward is the one we presented to you all, but it's certainly well within your purview to say, we don't like this. Let's take our chances. We'll go to a fee trial, set that with Judge Garcia and move forward.
I yield my time. Very simply, go ahead, Mister.
And maybe my memory's wrong. What, I remember us voting to settle this thing a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
Did we not?
I do. We were right around there.
I think that was
Approved room.
Woodruff Road,
Well, we did that,
Mount Temple.
but we did this one too.
Wasn't that
a different?
They did that on Woodruff. We had a deal with Woodruff at the settle.
We did. But we did this
Okay.
one too.
I don't remember that. Might have did, yeah. I know we did the Woodruff.
I think it was you.
Woodruff, I know we did.
No,
But we talked about that one right there, we talking about now, we discussed that one very little, because council at that time did most all the talking. We hardly, I finally got her attention to tell her a little something, you know.
I don't remember that.
I do. We were all in there, every one of them. But I yield my time, and I won't beat it to death any further, but at the same time, I can't bring myself to vote to give them $230,000 without having some recourse again.
So just to ask
I get it.
Commissioner Branch and Commissioner West,
Yes.
because I don't recall, you're thinking we've already agreed to settle this for a lesser amount?
I don't know about that amount. Whatever it was at that
We
time.
were
I thought
advised,
we voted to settle it.
that's correct. I'm pretty sure.
And I'm not saying it's
That's
lesser
right.
amount,
I mean, that ought to be easy to find out, shouldn't it?
and I may be totally wrong, but I know.
No, you're right. We were in that soundproof room, I remember.
So if you all did have a shade meeting on this, there would have to be a transcript of it. So if there's a transcript, we can locate that, try and pull that. Those are filed with the clerk, so it should be.
Who is the attorney that is asking for these fees?
Mr. Hubert Brown is his name. He's in Tallahassee.
What was his last
Miss
name?
Brown, BROWN.
And Shipley Clark?
I believe they are from, the Brown brothers are from Shipley.
I know those guys.
But if in fact the board, did do that in that shade meeting, then, you know, someone would have having to take the initiative to stop the litigation at that.
Correct. So you can't, so you can direct to do things in a shade meeting. You can't vote in a shade meeting because it's not a public meeting, but you could direct your counsel within that meeting to effectuate a settlement, then bring that back to you at another meeting. But I wasn't a part of the shade meeting, so I'm not sure.
Typically, once we meet in a shade meeting,
Correct.
call it, we typically come back immediately
Correct.
and take action on whatever it was that we decided in that shade meeting.
My experience been the shade meeting is maybe right before a regular meeting, and then you have the. regular meeting.
We did not come back to a regular meeting.
I don't really remember that.
We went down the hall and out the door. I remember.
One I remember was Woodruff.
We did road race.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't ever remember having.
I don't remember
Maybe I was
Woodruff,
wrong.
but I remember that one. So
Maybe I was.
combined, all our memories will be the same. We just have to combine.
That's right, yeah.
Well,
You need a vote.
Well,
We already voted.
my motion was to approve the consent agenda, including that item.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that part. That was item F.
That's what I said A through E plus item F. And that's when the discussion ensued about, your concern about that.
Right.
So did we vote on that? Yeah. So we would need to amend that motion.
Or come back if you want to change it. I would say if you want to change it, you would have to amend that or re-vote on that.
Did they vote on it, Ms. Wood?
Yes.
So you want me to offer an amendment to that motion to give staff time to research that and make sure that we've not already settled this? I mean,
I know you have not settled it. There may have been a board direction that was not voted on at a shade meeting. I would say we would need to probably do this quickly. After July 1st, the Supreme Court gets, every case that's over 3 years old, the court has to report that. So if we're gonna do that, which again, totally fine, we would probably need a special meeting to come back and either ratify or not ratify that. But certainly we can get you all, if there is a transcript out there, that's something we could get to the board and make sure that you all have a copy of that. But we'd have to go and find that transcript.
I guess my question would be, do we need to amend that motion? Or can we offer, keep the motion and the vote intact and just ask staff to research it?
We'll just, yeah, you don't need a motion for it. You can just tell us to do that. We'll get that for you. I don't think you need a motion for that.
Okay,
Y'all are our bosses. We'll make it happen.
was that the pleasure of the board?
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll get you the transcript if there is one.
Thank you.
And is there anything else that you need just so that we can be aware of it?
I don't think so.
We'll get that to you. If it exists, we'll get it to you. All right.
Okay,
Ready to move on, Mr.
move,
Westbrook?
yes, sir.
Okay, item number 2 in that same section, Mr. Westbrook, is, request for board approval of the budget schedule for starting in July. As you can see, we have 8 workshops on the budget schedule. We're hoping that we'll do a good job at the first one, and you guys would be happy, but we need the board to approve the schedule.
Just for complete transparency, the meeting on 9/22, which is our final public hearing, I will be out of the country. At that point in time, typically everything has been worked out.
We want to set some fees.
What day is that?
What's that?
What day?
9/22.
Yeah.
Well, we need a super majority that time. Dr. Spires, okay, never mind.
So move to approve these.
Got a motion, got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Move along.
Okay, Mr. Westbrook, the next item is the request for board approval of resolution and grant agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation. This is the construction resurfacing of Old US Road from State Highway number 2 north to the state line. So we're approving resolution and grant agreement.
Yo, what's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution and grant agreement and authorize chairman to sign.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Move along.
Is,
Yes, sir.
is Commissioner Spires still?
That's Commissioner Spires, yes, not mine.
Yeah,
Is
he is not on the line.
Okay, so these are 4-0 votes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had that
Have we had that?
road and the one on the river road for the
I
last
know,
year or
yeah.
two, and they've been promising us, but anyway, maybe they'll get started.
Ready for the next item?
Yes, sir, go right ahead.
Okay. Item number 4, Mr. Westbrook, is board approval of resolution and grant agreement for the design of Blue Springs Road from Sylvania Plantation to Butler Road. We're asking for board to approve the resolution and the grant agreement.
That's part of mine, part of yours.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it's all yours, isn't it?
Oh, I'll let you have it.
I want it. I'll offer a motion to approve the resolution and the grant agreement. Authorize you as the chairman to sign.
I got a motion in a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Move right along.
Mr. Westbrook, item number 5 is request board approval of amendment between the county and the architect for design services for the CDBG grant and DAG architectural services. This is the grant number M0043, as you may or may not recall. After Hurricane Michael, the county was successful at receiving a grant to make improvements to the smoke shop out on 70 at the intersection of 71 North and 90. They no longer wanted to pursue rehabbing that building, so they moved that grant to make improvements to a building that was in the old Madison restaurant. it was approximately $400,000. The state, with the help of our lobbyist, Mr. Alan Susky, came up with an additional $1.6 million to completely refurbish or to do the design and construct the refurbishing to get that property back on tax rolls. So this will amend the architectural services, is all we're doing.
So the $216,000 that's to be paid to DAG Architects, does that include the $41,000 that was
Yes.
previously paid to them?
Yes, it does.
And this is for, and I looked at it, but this is for design services all the way through
And
construction, contract administration, as well as field support, all the
Yes.
full service.
What's the board's pleasure?
Offer a motion to approve the amendment and authorize you as chairman to sign.
Motion to approve, a second by Commissioner Bryant. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Is there any
Moving on.
timeline? Well, I do
It's
say a
on that
timeline.
page 96, Mr. Don President.
So they're looking at, possibly bidding this project, is this correct? Bidding at 10/30/2026?
September is of 26, yes, end date
10/30.
October of 26.
I feel like, I mean, they're good with this
Yes,
timeline?
sir.
And that building will belong to us
No,
at the time, no?
no, sir. The way those CDBG grant dollars associated with that hurricane, it allows for private owners to. We did not buy that building. It was purchased by a private investor. All we're doing is providing grant funds to refurbish.
All right. Read the next item.
Okay, Mr. Westbrook, the next item is a request for approval of change order number 3 associated with the museum improvements at Endeavor. All this does is extend the days. There's no money involved with this change order.
What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. I have a second. Got a second. Commissioner Bryant, motion, Mr. Crutchfield. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Moving on.
Mr. Westbrook, the next item is request for board approval of a resolution and purchase sale agreement for what we're calling the smokestack building out at the Endeavor property. It was on the agenda.
This is the Chopin DeLaw.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is the small parcel, the 0.3 acres, and this is the resolution and the contract to sell them that basically a third or quarter of an acre adjacent to their property in between the fire station out on Hinesville Road. Sorry about that.
That's all right. You recommend to do it? Your
Yes, sir.
recommendation to do it? What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Donald. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Move along.
Okay, Mr. Westbrook, this next item is requesting board approval of the sales contract with as it relates to the smokestack building out at Endeavor property. This was on the agenda for the last meeting, and we got some clarification on some of the requirements associated with keeping the integrity of the building as it was. We incorporated those into the contract. Ms. Lauren Lyons is here to discuss any questions you might have, but we're recommending approval of the contract.
Before we take action on that, Lauren, I can come forward, but, I met with, Mr. Dean and myself, that property is actually within the city limits,
Yes,
and currently it's zoned as commercial.
yes.
I have concerns, and I've expressed these to Mr. Dean, that, as part of that, being in a commercial zone, that there's, quite a few things that property could be used for. I understand that the owner does plan to potentially turn that into a restaurant of some sort, but, there's really no protection beyond what he's saying.
We added some language
Okay,
to
that's what I
the
wanted to be sure of.
addendum there. Jim, did you want to read that?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
They are in agreement with it, the buyer is. The county has discussed potential zoning changes for this area due to the location and nature of this property. This sale is subject to any future zoning changes which might be implemented by the city of Marianna to allow for prohibiting certain usage.
For our attorney, do you feel like that is, that provision, has to be applied, has to be complied with?
Which provision, I'm sorry?
talking about the ability for the city of Marietta to make future zoning changes to
Well,
that area.
They have their own rules, so. it's not
Right,
a way.
but my question is, if the potential buyer has agreed to comply with any future land use change and any restrictions on that property that are associated with that land change, we're talking about putting a special overlay district on a portion of that. If they agree to that, can we hold them to that in the future?
We could hold them to that to the extent that it doesn't conflict with what's in that municipal code. So I mean, if the municipality comes in and changes it or makes a modification to it, let's just say, then they're gonna be bound by that if they're within their municipal limits. We don't.
Oh,
we're
I
not-
know that we don't, but I know that the county does not have any control over that. I guess as a legal opinion, I'm asking if we agree to sell that piece of property to them, it's currently zoned commercial.
Right.
But when they purchase it, it's gonna be a commercial piece of property. The city has agreed to move forward with changing that zoning to a special overlay district that will have additional restrictions on the piece of property as to how it can be used. Will they have to, would the new owner have to comply with those new provisions and restrictions if they say they will agree to it?
Let me make sure I understand your question. So you're saying if let's say city passes that special overlay district,
Right.
and that comes with more, for this instance, restrictive rules, they would have to abide by that. I mean, I don't think there's anything.
They're not grandfathered in under the old.
I think, well, it would depend on two things. One, when do you submit your application? So are you let's say that, for instance, they're trying to build something and that application comes in before the change, they'd be possibly grandfathered into the prior metrics that are in place at the time that they started. If they come in after that, they would be subject to those. I don't think grandfathering in would necessarily work there because it really, the timing would matter. So say, for instance, let's take it from our perspective here. So if an applicant comes in and they make a use designation change, and the board in your wisdom says, well, no, we want to make this particular change to this particular use, and they submit the application after that's already gone through planning and zoning review, after that's already come to you, they're going to be bound by what's on the books at that time. Same thing would be, I mean, we don't have this, but like in a criminal context or any other civil context, when the legislature changed the statute of limitations. So if you file on the day before that statute comes in, then you're subject to what previously would have been a 4-year statute of limitations. If you file on the day after, you're subject to a 2-year statute of limitations. So similar thing here. It's not so much a grandfathering in as it would be, when do you submit your application for a particular use objective? Does that make sense? Did I muddy that a little bit?
A little bit. Again, I'm just concerned about these specific pieces of property. And the example that I used in our meeting with Kay is currently as a commercial a piece of property in a commercial zone. That particular piece of property could be used. They could tear that building down and could put storage units there, a tattoo parlor. There's a number of different uses that the commercial zoning would allow currently. But once that overlay district is approved and in place, those much more restrictive set of allowable uses would be in place.
So you're saying, for instance, let's just use commercial versus residential, right? So if they were in a commercial use prior to the special overlay district, they would be subject to that if they submitted the application before special overlay district restrictions apply. After those special overlay district restrictions apply, they're subject to those at that point in time.
If they had not, so in other words, if they haven't submitted an application until after that overlay district was in place,
right,
they would have to comply with that. If they submit that application, we sell it to them and we close on it this week, it's more than likely, I don't know what the length of that process to change that zoning to a special overlay district is, but if they turn around and immediately submit an application for whatever, for some use that we don't feel like is appropriate for that specific location, then more than likely we would have a hard time saying you can't do that, or the city would have a hard time saying you can't do that, even though he's in practical terms saying that he will abide.
Correct. So they could still abide by whatever,
right,
internal things that they want to do on their end. The issue is just gonna be, when do you file? That's gonna be what I would imagine will be the main consideration.
Do you have any idea of a time frame of when this
ma'am, you're
overlay
looking
may
at-
happen? Sorry about that. Do you have any idea of when the time frame would be of this overlay being implemented?
I would guess Jim knows more about this than I, probably 60 to 90 days.
It could be, you know, that's up to the city. They would drive that train.
I would guess probably, I mean, Jim, I know you don't know specifically about the city, but it's not something that happens overnight. I mean, would you guess 60 days, 90 days if things move forward pretty rapidly?
Close to 90 if it's already.
So,
Just to point out, you do already have a signed contract with the building next to this. So that would be the same situation.
but we've already got a signed contract with that. I'm specifically
Yes.
talking about this
Yes.
piece of property, just again, to try to provide some additional protection. Would you think that with this particular buyer, if we table this until we had a better idea, that would be, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, of course, in real estate, time is of the essence, and we've already put them off by 2 weeks just by asking that question about the smokestack. So I cannot take the property off the market. I have to continue to offer that to other purchasers in the meantime. So they really do feel like that's an unfair advantage to other investors in the area since they did make what I consider a good offer on the property, you know, more than 2 weeks ago now, and we have put them off once. I mean,
what's the sales price that we agreed to?
35,000, it's priced at 39,000.
Well, to me, I mean, $35,000 is $35,000, but you know, to protect us from having the wrong type of business right directly across from the convention center, you know, that to me is a small price to pay. I'd prefer to put this off until actually we go through that process to make sure that we're protecting ourselves. And I say, we're protecting ourselves to selling it to somebody that's gonna do what we want to do with that property.
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
And again, I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm never trying to do that. So let's say, for instance, that the current land use provides for, you can put in a restaurant, you can put in a hotel, and you can put in a gas station. The new land development change comes in and says you can put in a bar, you can put in a nightclub, and you can put in some other use that, you know, is maybe less than desirable. Is the question whether or not they contractually have to abide by what we put in our conveyance documents as opposed to what the city says?
Yes.
I think we could try and enforce that, but the city would have a good case to say, and so would probably the property owner, that, well, this is now a permitted use. Even though we signed this, we're still gonna try and go forward with what the city is permitting at this point.
Mr. Westbrook, can I
Yes.
speak?
Yes, sir, you can.
Lauren,
Recognize.
can you read the language one more time?
Yes, and I was also had a question, maybe this would be for your attorney, but we have this right now as an attachment A, really to our purchase and sales contract, but once the sales contract is finished, which is in mid-July, did you plan to record this in some way with your deed or take other action? Because it does also give that language about if they don't begin construction on the property or make substantial improvements is how it's written, so.
The option to put it in the recorded document.
It would probably be a reverter clause for the second part of that, and then the first part might just be what we've discussed, just putting it in covenants and restrictions.
Okay, yes. So right now it reads attachment A, additional terms, Jackson County Board of County Commissioners. Purchaser shall commence substantial improvement of the property within 18 months from the date of closing.
Sorry, Betsy, I just mean that. one
Oh, okay,
paragraph
sure.
about the
Yes.
zoning.
The county has discussed potential zoning changes for this area due to the location and nature of this property. This sale is subject to any future zoning changes which might be implemented by the city of Marianna.
Are we protected with that language being in there to make them comply with those future zoning?
Can you read that last sentence, the last part of that again?
It's all one sentence, but
The
you
last
mean
maybe
from
10
this
words.
sale, okay, this sale is subject to any future zoning changes which might be implemented by the city of Marianna.
So that, in effect, gives that property owner an out, right? Because it says it's subject to that, so if they make a change that changes those conditional uses from commercial to residential, you can no longer have a commercial use there, you'd have to have a residential use.
So they're protected.
Yes, we,
Okay. As long as we're protected in.
we want to agree with what the city's doing.
Right, that's what I'm saying, they would be subject to what the city is doing,
Right. Because
They-
they've basically
Yeah.
said, we understand that this particular piece of property that we are buying is subject to additional restrictions associated with this new zoning, and we're okay with that.
Correct.
And
And we're gonna probably put that in the deed itself. This is just a sales contract to get us to that point.
okay.
All right. Have we got a motion and a second? It's been so long, I can't remember. You recognize, 1 minute. This lady will yield the podium to you.
I was here last meeting and, a piece of property was discussed. I thought it was referred to as the smokestack. And, it was tabled because of some questions you had. And I remembered, and I may be misremembering, a $49,000 asking price and an offer of 40 on the table. Am I confusing
Yes,
that
sir, I
with a
think
different
so.
piece of?
If I could, Mr. Westbrook.
You're recognized.
That was associated with carpentry building,
Yeah.
and the list price was 49, and they offered 94 or 95% of that price.
Right.
Two different pieces of property.
But and that's not this item today?
That was already decided last week, or last
Two
meeting.
different pieces of property.
I thought it was tabled from the last meeting.
We're talking, the one that was approved at the last meeting was the carpenter building.
That was the 49/40.
This is the smokestack building, completely.
Gotcha. All right. Here's my thoughts.
Thank you, that's okay.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
I'll be brief. This caught my attention, so I started looking at some residential lot prices currently for sale in the city limits of Mariana. And a number of them were in the high 80s, 35, 38, bumping up against 40. And I started thinking, here's a piece of property in a prime, it's commercial, which typically is more than residential in price, across from the convention center, a structurally sound building still on the property, easy access to the interstate. And I thought, $35,000 or $40,000 for that? That's like bargain basement pricing. What is, am I missing something here? I'm thinking this is $100,000. I mean, maybe there've been no takers, but that area is developing, the convention center, somebody could buy it at this price, and is there anything to keep them from flipping it and doubling their money a week? It just seems like the county's selling an asset for a very, very, and real estate's not my expertise, for a very, very low price.
And may I address that? You're exactly right.
You recognize.
I think the thought process behind it, Alan, is that we are trying to encourage redevelopment of those properties. And it is a structurally sound building, but it doesn't have a roof on it. And it's just basically a shell of a building. So, the building itself needs quite a bit of work. But the overall idea is we are trying to encourage redevelopment of those properties. And that's where my concern comes from, is not redevelopment into anything that commercial might allow, but redevelopment into a restaurant or a brewery or something that falls within the allowable uses of what the county would like to see that
That
property
sounds
used.
great. That sounds
So by
great.
putting those additional restrictions on it, to me, it does reduce the value of the property a little bit, I would think. I mean,
Yes, anytime you reduce your demand, which is your pool of buyers, then you are thereby reducing who is going to invest in those properties. And as Paul spoke to, we want to try to get the right buyer for those. And both the carpentry and smokestack investors have done redevelopment type projects in other areas. One of those couples have done some things in Shipley and also Ohio. Another one, the one that's offering on the smokestack, already owns a commercial location here in Mariana.
What kind of business?
Yeah, we all ready. Let's
Thank you.
move on.
thank you.
Pick the, last item, Mr. Vogt.
Voted.
I don't know if you had a motion.
I don't believe we do either. What you got? No motion. Thank you.
Yeah, based
All
on,
right, I get one. Well, him, somebody.
based on all of the information that we've heard, I'll offer a motion to proceed with, the sales contract.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, moving on after so long period of time.
Mr. Westbrook, the next item is the, request for board or the chair to sign an MOU with Chipola College. The college has applied for rural health transformation program dollars from its federal money coming through the state, as I understand it. This would allow the college to pay bonuses to fire rescue type staff that are hired by Jackson County Board of County Commissioners over a period of number of years. And it has been reviewed by our attorney, and we're asking for board approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
We got a motion to approve, we got a second by Commissioner Bryant. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, move along.
Mr. Westbrook, that was it, but I do have several items, but whenever you're ready for them.
I'm ready for them about an hour ago.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Ms. Westbrook, we've had a presentation a month and a half ago from a consulting firm that does EMS assessment studies. With what we're facing with the budget over the next couple of years, I'm asking that the board allow me to engage the services of a consultant to perform that EMS study. EMS study is all we would do is complete that study, and then it would come back to the board for approval.
Have you got an estimate of what that would cost?
It's my opinion would be somewhere between $30,000 and $45,000.
And this is gonna basically study, you know, what a potential fire assessment would, what type of revenue it would generate.
What type of revenue it would generate, the timing as to if the board moves forward with it, it would establish that timeline and file the necessary documents with the property clerk of court.
What's the board's pleasure?
Well, that's a big ask, but, you know, within the overall framework of what we're facing, and I was a betting man and I'm not, but, you know, with the property tax exemption or referendum coming up, even though it does take 60%, I think there's a likely chance it's gonna pass. I could be wrong, I mean, but I think we need to start preparing ourselves.
Well, you should be.
For the what ifs.
But I think the only, and this is certainly not a rebuttal of what you said, but I think as other bigger counties figure all that, I think they'll see a loss as well. It won't be just us. I think Alachua County is looking at 50, 60 million, and that's only a middle range county in this state. So I think you're right to be aware of that and to look at that.
You know, one of the things we hear, and I agree with it, is that, you know, property taxes place a burden on a smaller segment of our citizenry than
30%.
other types of taxes.
About 30%.
And with the fire assessment, correct me if I'm wrong, but every citizen in Jackson County would be paying for that assessment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So I mean, you know, they're paying for service they may or may not use, but they're paying for a service that
And only physically constrained counties can implement an EMS assessment. And we would procure those services in accordance with our procurement policy approved by the Board of County Commissioners.
And going forward with this assessment study is not saying that we're gonna put the assessment in play.
Yes.
Basically, just, it gives us the information that we need to better make a decision as to whether to move forward or not to move forward.
Yes. And
Ms. Sean for a question. Well, you can ask it from right there.
Are people in the county that would be capable of making the same kind of assessment?
I'm not sure there'd be a professional to that degree.
It does, the study would have to meet anybody in Jackson County when we do the RFQ. We would encourage them to participate.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
This would be basically authorizing the advertisement of RFQ to to provide those services.
Right.
And your estimate is just an estimate at this point in time? Once
Yes,
we-
that's just a ballpark number. And, you know, I don't want to bog us down in the minutia, but, you know, you can do a fire assessment and an EMS assessment study. But in my opinion, the EMS assessment is the only thing that I would, like to, pursue at this time.
Right,
I just make a motion that we proceed with that.
make a motion.
Make a motion, we proceed with that.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Mr. Westbrook, as the Board of County Commissioners know, our governor has given the state staff 3 days off. I am asking the Board of County Commissioners to allow our staff to have 2 days, which would be Friday and Monday for the July 4th weekend.
And then could I ask you to write the governor a letter and tell him to fund that? All he's got plenty of money and we don't have a lot. So ask him to fund that for us.
For your signature, Mr. Westbrook?
That's, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
By all means.
So the governor's given Thursday, Friday, and Monday off?
Yes.
And you're asking for
Just Friday and Monday.
Monday?
Yes, sir. You can sign it in boxcar letters. I will.
I know. What's the school board doing, Tony? Does that make any difference? I mean, is.
They probably get the same thing.
I know we're taking off Friday.
You recognize it?
I'd like to give them the best time as possible, but with the road situation, I don't think the road department needs to take that much time off. They probably need to work overtime.
So,
Yeah. It's always,
But anyway, I agree with
it's always though, somebody can spend somebody else's
it.
money.
Yeah,
A
right.
darn sight easier than they can spend their own. And that's what I say, even all, with all due respect to the governor. He's spending somebody else's money. Now I yield the rest of my time back.
I make a motion, we go with a Friday and Monday.
We got a motion, do I have a second?
I second it.
We got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, raise your right hand. Just raise it a little bit.
Mr. Westbrook, with the the budget being close to being approved, we hope for the state of Florida, there is rural infrastructure fund dollars, approximately 27 million being made available to our small counties, physically constrained counties. The county would like to ask if we could we plan to make application for 2 projects. I gave you a copy of the aerial for those 2 projects. One of them is a road that would leave Penn Avenue and then join into Mashburn, which would expand our commercial industrial park and offer more available properties for commercial businesses. The other one, a number of years ago, the county received a rural infrastructure fund grant to design a campground at Blue Springs, and it's ready to be bid. So we would want to ask authorization to sign these 2 applications, one to build a campground at Blue Springs and one to construct the road with utilities at the commercial industrial park out at Endeavor.
Okay, not anything to do with Blue Springs then? Did you say something about Blue Springs?
The campground.
Okay,
at Blue Springs.
I want to count, before I vote on this, I own some land just to the north side of that. And, I'm sure there'll be somebody who want to criticize, say I'm gonna vote for that, but I really don't care, but I don't want to do something that I shouldn't do. So that land is probably a quarter of a mile away. You see it right there? Right there.
This is Blue Springs,
Yeah.
Poplar Springs Road.
Right, okay, that's mine all the way back there. About 150, 60 acres.
So it's on the south side of Blue Springs Road?
It's on the north side. So, should I vote, should I?
When in doubt, sit it out.
Okay.
So if you want to
Yeah.
recuse, do that and we can send you the
That'd be
appropriate
fine.
form. Yes, sir.
Now, I don't want to sell the land anyway, but I
Just in
think-
case.
Yeah,
Nope. err on the side of caution. That's the best course. of
Dollars
action.
to dollars.
Yes, sir.
I yield my time. I'll exempt myself from that vote.
I move that we proceed with that.
Got a motion, got a second, proceed. All in favor, raise your right hand. Got mine down here.
Mr. Westbrook, the next, item that I have is, we were contacted by the state representative's office about, if the Board of County Commissioners would host a town hall meeting at the convention center, so that he could answer questions about the homestead property tax issue. We want to move forward with that if it's okay, and, let the public know that the Board of County Commissioners will be hosting that meeting.
I think that's a good idea, and a nice offer.
Okay. The next item I have, Mr. Westbrook, and hopefully the last, is we were awarded, dollars from the state of Florida to improve the Magnolia Landing, boat landing. In order to make the improvements that we, believe we need to incorporate additional parking for, vehicles with boat trailers, we need an additional, acre and a half, which the adjacent landowner is Miss Mott. She, after several months of discussion, she has agreed to sell that property, 1.5 acres of that property. And we're asking the board to allow us to move forward with that project using Tourist Development, Committee, tax dollars to pay, $100,000 for that 1.5 acres on the Chipola River.
I wish that's where my land was. I would sell it instead of voting.
Were there any other,
There was one other, condition, and, I have talked with community development. If the board agrees and if we purchase that property, it would leave about 12 and a half acres. And she has asked that, she be able to get a development order to put one home on the 12 and a half acres. So that would be a part of the agreement.
that's all on the floodplain, so she would have to comply with whatever restrictions and regulations apply to, the floodplain, which means elevating the structure to a certain height.
What's the board's pleasure?
Well, I'll offer a motion to approve.
To
Sell,
approve?
purchase of that property for $100,000.
Okay, I see, boy.
It's like,
I mean, it's well needed.
I got to have a second from one of y'all. I don't care which.
That landing is landlocked. And
Oh, it is,
it's-
yeah.
It's well needed.
I got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, we raise our right hand and hide our head, as you would say, hold my nose. I'm the same way.
That's all I have, Mr. Westbrook.
okay.
Praise good. Anybody else have anything? No? Oh, no. You'll have to pay for that. All right, go ahead,
Fine.
recognize.
I've had several parties ask me if something do, county do anything like a disaster with the weather and all that we're having, and I told them, I don't know if we could write a letter to the Agricultural Commission.
We had not written one. Go ahead.
And, maybe requested them to take a look at the rain and all. I know some of them farmers, several of them have planted peanuts twice. The last rain we had, when we had about a week's break, they had planted peanuts earlier, that a lot of them didn't come up. For some reason, I was raised on a farm, and I always thought peanuts was no problem coming up. You could plow them under a bottom plow and they'd come up. For some reason or another, they may have a different type of seed now or something, but they had to go back in and replant. Now it's in the process of, are they gonna come up now or not? And then, they may end up having to replant them again, so.
Have that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
That's a good idea for me, in my opinion. We haven't been long written one, and not that I've said anything about it.
I know
have
we
a lot.
we
You go-
can't-
You go ahead.
I know we can't, help them, but maybe the agricultural, could.
For the chairman to sign.
Grant, yes, chairman to
Go
sign.
ahead, Chuck.
Yes, sir. Just want to remind the commissioners about the executive order from the governor when we had the extreme weather with the drought, that executive order from the governor, still staying with the strict recommendations.
Yeah, let me work this out right here. You got a motion and got a second. To write a letter to the proper authorities for FSA, state and national. I'll be glad to help with that any way I can to facilitate that as far as the letter. We've had some good communication back from the other letter that we wrote, and it worked out good. We helped several of our farmers, the one that's in Mr. Branch and my district visit. So, yeah, that's a very good thing. So I would, if you want to vote on it, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. I'll be responsible for the letter. But let the record reflect about a no vote for me on the place at Blue Springs. Anybody else? Yes, sir. You, damn, if you ain't gonna buy me out.
Yeah, I just want to thank Director Sweezy for guiding me through this process. She's been very available and very
Yes.
kind, and also to Mr. Dean. And I don't know if this is the forum for it, but with respect to the ban, I would propose like a special interest meeting, just so you can hear from the engineers, still say no, but just hear them out, but from the horse's mouth, not from me. Just putting
We'll
that out.
attend to it when the time comes.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Branch moves we rise.